community ambassador for the VA program, and none other than an enigma himself, Kennedy. Feel free. How are you feeling? Tell us. Introduce
Hey,
yourself.
Kevin. I'm so
Hi.
excited. I'm so excited. The program has been running so fast. Can you believe it's already 6 weeks? And
Wow.
it's always just an amazing time when you get an opportunity to interact with the learners once again. And as you said, today's guest is special. There's so many nuggets I'm personally looking forward to hear from our guest, and I just can't wait to dive into it. Otherwise, feeling great. I'm also joining from the capital of Africa.
Okay. You're going to tell us. You're going to know at the end of the session, which is the capital of Africa. Anyways, let's run through the agenda and get to know what you're going to be covering today. First of all, as usual, we get to know how you're going to be engaging. And then we're going to have a small check-in activity just to know how you guys are and get to know something very interesting about that check-in. Then a masterclass as well as a fireside chat. We asked Patricia for just a masterclass, and she said she's going to go one more and do also a fireside chat for all of you guys. Then you're going to have a Q&A, because definitely this session is for you, and you get to know what you want to pick the mind of and the experience of Patricia. And then definitely you're going to have at the very end announcements, get your feedback, because it's very important as we close out the session. So let's get started out on how we engage. As usual, we really want you to put everything aside, be fully present. There's no need for you to join this session, then you're doing other things. Just make sure you don't miss on anything, because what is going to be thrown down here can change the trajectory of your VA career. Again, we want you to keep the energy levels high on the chat, on the Q&A. Just make sure you do that. And talking about Q&A, then feel free to use that feature for queries, because it's hard for us to follow up on the Q&A when you post your questions in the chat. You can use that for any questions you're having for our speaker, as well as the VA program. And definitely just make sure you enjoy the session. It's yours, savor the moment, and listen, learn, engage with your peers as well as the speaker for the day. Let's get right onto it. Kennedy, I don't know what you're going to tell about this. I don't know whether you prepped for this, but how? So what I'll check in today, and I want you to use the chat. It says, if your hustle today was a famous African song, which one would it be and why? And the pictures there just to give you a bit like to jog your memory. And as you do this, I want to know from Kennedy, which famous African song? I know you're a very good DJ. You know it from other circles, but let us know, what is that famous African song?
Uh, um, well, this was a tough one, Kevin, to go by, because Africa has so much to offer in terms of music, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
music is also very, and I'm giving a political answer here. Music is also very subjective. If you mention one, the other person will be like, who listens to that guy or who listens to that lady? But I think I'd go for the most recent song by Diamond and BN. It's called Katam.
Mhm.
I'd go for
Mhm.
that because it kind of embodies what we are doing here. People are joining in from all across the continent. And if you can tell
Mhm.
what the lyrics talk about, they talk about people from across the continent. I'm not going to get into the details, but yeah, Katam by Diamond and BN, I think it's amazing. That's how my hustle is feeling like this week, connecting with people from all over the place. What about you?
Wow. Yeah, before I tell mine, let's see some that are coming through to the chat. I can see Femvoye by Faith is telling us about Femvoye. Tap Seed by Stoneboy. Let me just tell you the truth, I haven't listened to those songs yet. I don't know whether I'm living in another continent. Time Flies by Sauti Soul and Banner Boy by Claudia. If Davido, Rush, at least I found one or two that I know. Rush by Arya Star, Brighter Days by Sauti Soul, Uyo Mayo by Tenny, because you're currently chasing your dreams. Wow, Chioma. Then Diamond, Moyo. Someone said my song already, Charles. All My Enemies Are Suffering by Bien. Amanda from Zuchu, Dangote, Burna Boy, Sarkodie, When I Grew Up. So Charles Z has already said, my latest song by Bien, because trust me, when we look good, when we look fly, right? Like the way I look right today is my LX hoodie. All my enemies are suffering. That is my song currently that is hitting the waves. Just before that, we had massacred Power by Mbosso. So at least now we can go for another song. Yeah, so that is it. Thank you. Keep on sharing your songs in the chat. And over to you, Kennedy. Over to you, Kennedy.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm still laughing at your choice of song and the person who chose that. I'd like to hear more details after this about which enemies are suffering and how. That's funny. Yeah, but let's get into the real business, right? As we said earlier, we are so excited about today because we have a special guest. As you know, every time we have any of these events, we strive to bring you the best nuggets in the market. We want to make sure that you are ready in every single front. So we give you the content in Savannah, we give you a lot of support through other platforms, but we also try to just make sure that when we get a chance to bring in a guest, they're the best of the best. And today, Patricia Mai embodies that because Patricia is an award-winning creative copywriter and brand storyteller. And if that sounds like a lot of jargon for you, I'll help you break it down, right? She's nailed the art of building her digital career, and she's nailed the art of helping other people build their digital career. And if you know anything so far about the virtual assistant program, it's about building a digital brand. It's about building a career that thrives online. It's about working remotely. It's about trying to get clients from all over the place and all over the globe. And Patrice here just embodies that in the best way possible. She has quite an extensive CV. She has quite an extensive experience, and I don't think I'll do it justice if I try to dive into that. So I'm going to let Patricia come on video and just introduce herself in the best way possible, and then I will get going with the rest of the things. Hi, Patricia.
Yeah. Hi, Kennedy. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited right now. I actually just came from a meeting because we have like lots of events coming up in the Middle East region right now. So yeah, it's really great to be here to make it just in time. And a little bit about myself, of course, Kennedy, thank you for introducing me. As he said, I'm a creative copywriter and proud to say that I'm an award-winning copywriter. So I recently received an award like a few months ago as one of the Global Filipino Icon awardees. So I'm good when it comes to corporate communications, and at the same time, I did a lot of projects. So in my company, the main client that I'm handling is Dell Technologies. So if you're familiar with the Dell laptops, so that's the kind of company that I'm working with currently. And also Palo Alto Networks, which focuses more on cybersecurity. So when it comes to building a brand identity, you'll be surprised because I started as a very like an introverted person, but imagine the kind of companies and brands that I've worked on aside from Dell and Palo Alto Networks. I'm actually currently McKinsey. If you're familiar with McKinsey, I'm actually one of their ambassadors for storytelling for their free learning program, which I would also suggest that you enroll in if you're interested. I'm also affiliated with different organizations like the Emirates Literature Foundation, the American Copy Editor Society, and the Pro Copywriters in UK. So basically, can you imagine from an introvert to someone who's like growing her network, not just in one place, but in different parts of the world? And now I'm here in front of you for ALX Africa, and I'm excited to share to you how. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Patricia. As I told you guys, I could not have done that the justice she just did. And trust me, there's so much more experience here that came from. We just short of time to dive into it all. But I hope that the questions we prepared, the questions that our learners are going to raise, will unravel as much as possible from your experience. And when Kevin started, he mentioned the name of today's session, the theme of today's session. and it's your digital career launchpad. Learn smart, connect strong, land opportunities. Guys, it's week 6. We have 3 more weeks to go, 4 more weeks to graduation, right? And we just want to make sure that apart from diving into the content, your head is also in the right space when it comes to trying to figure out where to get opportunities and all, how to position yourself digitally and all that. And that's what our first question is going to be, Patricia, right? How do you get into the job ready mindset? Our learners are going through a lot of virtual assistant content, right? But what does learning smart look like? If you're an aspiring virtual assistant, what practical steps can you take as a learner to shift your mindset from just completing the weekly tasks and turn that into mastering actual professional growth or knowledge?
Okay, yeah, that's a really nice question. So, Kennedy, actually, learning smart in this era have like many phases. But as I said in like previous sessions that even Kevin has attended, learning smart is in this era is being able to learn how to learn. So it's like a tongue twister. So learning how to learn is a concept I first was introduced in the Harvard Business Review. So it's way back 2016, a really old article if you think about it, but it will be really helpful for you, especially if you're working in the virtual space these days, because learning how to learn is knowing how to evaluate your learning approach and adjusting based on the skills that you want to learn. Because the problem these days, there's too much information online. Like as we speak right now, we don't know how many free courses are there, how many paid courses are there, and we want you to like make the most of your time, make the most of your resources. So if you learn how to learn, you can evaluate how you learn, and at the same time ensure that you're actually learning the right skill. So how do you do this? First, I always suggest this to all learners: go to the job description of your dream role, and after that, look at the skills that you need to learn. And it doesn't even have to be your dream role. Look at something related to it. Like, for example, I'm a creative copywriter. That's not the only role that's associated with it, right? You have like, if you look at LinkedIn, you look at hiring places, you also have the titles like content manager, content designer, brand manager. So in this way, if you look at the different job descriptions for these, there are like common skills and there are some different skills that you can focus on. Now, some practical steps that you can do is that once you identify the skills that you want to learn, I would suggest that you plan like a learning journey. So not just, okay, I want to learn this, I'm gonna enroll this. It's not just like that. You have to plan from the start, from planning what will be your intentions or goals up to achieving that. So how does this work? First, I want you to like know the difference between learning intentions and performance goals. So learning intentions, as taught by McKinsey, is when you want to learn new skills. So let's say completely zero, you don't know anything about this skill. So you set a learning intention. Now, next, performance goals. So let's say I already have the skill in writing, but I don't have like other skills like designing or copywriting, which is another like writing skill. So that's when I set performance goals. So once you know the difference, set that, and then you go to the next part, which is like giving yourself a timeline on when you are going to focus or finish your learning journey. Because, for example, a lot of people do this. And I also like encountered a lot of learners telling me that, oh, I only have like a 1 hour course. I can finish it in one day. And still they don't end up finishing it. So you need to have a timeline set. So if you want to finish it in 1 month, then put that. Write it down. I'm going to finish this course in 1 month, in 1 week, in one day. Okay. And aside from that, so you set your learning intention or performance goal, you made a timeline. Another step that you can do is have like an obstacle or struggle log. So this is very important because okay, life gets in the way sometimes. Sometimes, even if you have like a particular timeline, you feel that, okay, something happens at work, something happens in your personal life. You have to pause everything. So when this happens, make sure you jot it down so that you can also stay motivated. And at the same time, if you encounter the same problem in the future, you're be able to deal with it because you now have like a solution plan for it. And then last but not the least, my favorite part, make sure you have like an application plan ready. So why an application plan? This is when you are going to apply your skills. So a lot of people enroll in different courses, get their certificates, but not everyone knows, okay, when am I going to apply this? Or am I even going to apply this? So that's very important because I'm actually previously a journalism teacher, and application is always like the best way for students to remember the skills that they've learned. So like you can save all your notes in your iPad, in your gadget, in your laptop, but without application, you will not know things by heart, and of course, you're just gonna waste your time and resources, your effort if you're not able to apply those skills. Yeah.
Wow, we got right into the deep end. I was taking notes here, and thank you so much for sharing that. I just want to make sure that I touch on what resonated most for me. So you've said, one, there's a lot of courses out there, free and paid for, right? You need to be self-aware enough to know what's relatable for you. A good place to start is to go look at a job description of a job you'd like to do or something close to that and try understand what skills you need to build to get there, right? Then number two, the last point you mentioned, which I also think is super important, is have the end goal in mind, right? Don't just stack up courses without knowing well how you're going to apply them. For example, if you're taking the virtual assistant course right now, start thinking about potential application areas. And I think that's super important, especially when we are going to be talking about how to get to opportunities. But before we get there, I understand that apart from the technical skills you get in the different courses, it's also very important for our learners to get soft skills, something that makes your professionalism complete. Could you maybe share some of the cross-cutting soft skills that contributed to your professionalism? I know this could be applicable for copywriters, for virtual assistants, but anybody trying to build a digital career. What are some of the soft skills somebody needs to focus on building, and how did you go about that personally for you?
Yes, Kennedy, you made like a very important point. These days, I hear a lot of people focusing on the technical skills, but yes, soft skills are very much important, especially if you're gonna like go in the virtual assistant route, because soft skills actually, in addition to the technical skills, make you stand out more. Like right now, everyone can use AI now. Every person in every part of the world. But what you have, like your soft skills, will like distinguish you from other people. So some soft skills, you can also check this out on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn actually publishes this skills report, job skills report. I can't remember if it's quarterly or yearly, and you can check that out. They always have these skills: communication skills, creative skills, critical thinking skills, and problem solving skills. So if you think about it, okay, these are skills that can actually be done by AI tools, but that's when most people get it wrong because, okay, AI tools are now very sophisticated, but now you will see a lot of reports online. People are lacking communication skills now. Some people even can't hold like a good conversation right now. Like, for example, meeting in person and even comment section. Check the comment section of social media accounts, pages. Some of them sound robotic or are actually using AI tools, which, of course, I mean, how can you land a deal if you're like trying to win like a project if you're talking like a robot? Like for example, for me right now, I just got off from from an important client meeting for a big event that we'll have for like one of our clients. Do you think they will give me the project if I'm talking like, yes, sir, very insightful suggestion? Of course, you won't land like a big client project with that. So another thing is creative thinking. So a lot of people say that creative thinking is just limited to creatives like me who designs and writes. Actually, no. Creative thinking is like for everyone. So when you are a creative thinker, put this in your mind. Being a creative thinker is being able to come up with the most innovative solutions that you can think of. Something so simple, like a simple problem for your client. It can be as simple as they have like problems with their current process. And as a virtual assistant, you're able to fix that. Well, you're a creative thinker in that. And another thing is the critical thinking and problem solving skills. Okay, this is a bit funny. Not funny in a sense, but I understand some people who do this. They go to AI tools and ask for advice, which, okay, as someone as for me, like someone like me who's working on the tech industry, it's important to know that AI tools answer you based on the data that you feed it. So there will be biases. And at the same time, it's just validating what you know. It's not offering you something new most of the time. So let's say you experience a problem that's just new for you and the client. It will be impossible for the AI tool to answer that for you, which is what companies right now are looking for. They want people who are thinkers and don't just rely more on AI tools. But it's another conversation when it comes to like using AI tools. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, wow. Thank you, Patricia. Soft skills is clearly a very, very deep concept and would take days to unravel. But I think you've touched on two critical ones for me. One, critical thinking, and then creative thinking. Be a problem solver, right? And everyone uses ChatGPT, as you've said, and ChatGPT will always agree with you and call you smart because it's trained to be agreeable, right? So you have to be wary of that. But as much as these skills are super important, I imagine somebody doesn't just wake up and become a critical thinker or wake up and become a creative thinker. How did you personally build those muscles of creative thinking and problem solving and critical thinking in a way that made your clients go, yeah, there was a problem here and Patricia solved it, right? How can our virtual assistants start warming up into the idea of being critical and creative thinkers, you know?
Okay, so actually it took me years. I'll be honest with you, it took me years to become like a creative thinker and like a problem solver. So first thing I would suggest is that you start learning different processes when it comes to creative thinking and problem solving. So as you notice, every suggestion I make, you need to have a process because I'm in a deadline driven industry. And I think that's very important because now in the AI era, a lot of people and businesses want things fast and not just fast, but with quality. So I suggest if you want to be a creative thinker and you want to be a good problem solver, you start building those skills now and you look at some terms related to it. Some of them are like these design thinking. Personally, design thinking is my favorite process when it comes to learning how to think creatively and also solve a problem. So IDEO, you can search upon it, IDEO, IDEO. They offer like courses on design thinking. They give free resources on design thinking. And with that, you can like plan on how you will like think creatively and be a problem solver. Now, when you're at work, I would also suggest like looking at things you would want to improve. Like years ago, I did this for my writing process. Like I looked on and I told myself, how can I make this easier? Not just for me, but for everyone. Because take note, we're speaking business here, and businesses are focused on getting the output, and at the same time, they want someone who can offer them solutions. And as a virtual assistant, that's exactly what your role will be about. And if you offer like more things to your clients, of course, they will give you more projects, which is what happened in my case. You'll be surprised again. Years ago, I actually thought of quitting my job because I feel that I'm not like doing a great job on it. I'm getting yelled at. Okay, that's very common because I'm making a lot of mistakes. Getting yelled at to the point that, people are getting frustrated when you're making the same mistakes again and again. But then when I learned about design thinking, and another thing I would suggest, learn about being indistractable. So being indistractable is a concept introduced by Nir Eyal. So you can search about it. Nir Eyal as in Nireyal. He helped me to be more focused, especially in this time where you can easily get distracted with your phone. Just one notification, and then you're now like forgetting what you're doing. So these two things, to be like a creative thinker and a problem solver, those are things you have to like focus on: design thinking and being indistractable. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, well put. Thank you for being very specific with that. Clearly, for you to be a critical and creative thinker, you need to work very hard, go through hurdles like being yelled at. Hopefully, not everyone has to go through that. But also be aware of the tools and resources out there that can help accelerate your journey. Design thinking is a tool, it's a toolkit, it's a structure of doing things. So you have to be familiar with these different things, right? And just before I get into the next question, I'd like to remind all our learners that they can ask questions in the Q&A segment. There's instructions in the chat about where to find that, because we'll be getting to those questions soon. If there's a question in the chat, we might not be able to see it. So Patricia, you were recently awarded the Visionary Filipina in Corporate Communications Award at the 2025 Global Filipino Icon Awards in the UAE. Congratulations. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because it shows that you've mastered the art of standing out. I imagine that in your industry and in your workspace, there's a lot of other people who are copywriters. There's a lot of other brand storytellers, right? But you work with amazing companies. You work with big companies. Over time, you've found out how to not only make yourself stand out, but also make all those other companies stand out. And I think standing out is super important for our learners too, because again, there's a lot of virtual assistants. In this call alone, we have more than 100, right? How does somebody position themselves in a way that their value is still seen even in a crowded space? What are some of the actionable items they can take to make sure that they are different?
Yes, I like this question actually. So a lot of people, even before this award, the award giving body also asked me, what helped you stand out? Because everyone can be a copywriter now because of the AI tools. And I think it's working on a passion project. So if you think about it, it seems like counterproductive because it's a passion project. It's free and you're giving it to people for free. And people are like seeing it. But the problem is for me, I first was like, okay, why should I? Okay, you can post on social media about your passion projects. And that's actually what helped me like gain more confidence as I go along. You'll be surprised about the kind of opportunities I'm getting just because I'm posting online. So these things that I'm posting online, I just decided to post it because at work we do all kinds of stuff. And at the same time, there was a point I was thinking, oh, I want to work on this kind of stuff, but this is not something that my clients are going to use. So I said, okay, I'm going to start like a blog of my own. I'm going to put my own social media content calendar. And before I know it, which is actually weird, I found it weird at first. I have people who are actually approaching me just by posting. And take note, these posts that I didn't even go viral. Can you imagine that? It didn't even go viral. They didn't get more than 3 likes, 5 likes, but then you will see me get affiliated with different brands. And even being an ambassador for storytelling, can you imagine that they just saw some of my posts and they think, oh, you should also like apply for our ambassador program because we think that your content is amazing. So even if you're not like even if you're not going viral, yeah, and also take note, just because someone has lots of followers, just because someone has lots of likes, it doesn't mean that it translates to leads, it translates to clients or even projects. I'm not discrediting those who have lots of followers, but of course followers is not equal to money. Okay, in some cases it's not like that. It doesn't work like that. So I would suggest focus on doing passion projects, like focus on things that you love and do passion projects about it and get your work out there. Take note, this is an important thing that I learned from I Am Remarkable. So I Am Remarkable is a free session by Google. It started in Google. I can't remember the exact year, and they taught us that stating the facts and being proud of your achievements is not bragging. Because I'm not sure about the work culture in other countries, but most of the time, when you post about your achievements, people think you are bragging, or like people feel the cringe in like advocating for yourself. But that's the first step in standing out. You need to believe in your work, and you actually need to show that you believe in your work. Because if you don't believe in your work, no one else will. And yeah, I think you can, and at the same time, do volunteering. There are lots of volunteering I did over the years, and that's actually one of the things that brought attention to my resume, to my profile. I can't state all the clients I work with over the years, but think big companies, aside from Dell Technologies, aside from Palo Alto Networks. And there was even a time, so I'm happy to share this. There was even a time someone emailed me from this big company. It's an AI tool that probably all of you are using every day. And they told me, oh, we saw your content and we want you to like test our AI tool for this feature. And take note, that's paid. It's not a free thing, it's paid. And yeah, so definitely believe in your work and advocate for yourself most of the time, because in social media, everyone is like talking about their achievements anyway. Why can't you? Right? Yeah.
Amazing. Believe in your work, advocate for yourself, shout from the rooftops, because yeah, if you don't believe in your work, nobody else will. And LinkedIn is a good example of a platform where there's a communal understanding that we are here to brag professionally, right? So yeah, do that in a way that helps advance your professional objectives. Earlier on when we started the chat, Patricia, you mentioned that when you started out, you were introverted, right? And over time, when we interact with our learners, we noticed that introvertedness it's a common attribute. It's a common attribute across a lot of the people who choose to go the digital career way, and they find it very hard to break into the mindset of, hey, I can put myself out there, because or maybe they feel like their work is not good enough, they are not good enough, they don't have enough experience. And our content has a segment where we ask our learners to build or create LinkedIn profiles and just showcase what they can do, right? Even before they graduate. And a lot of people struggle with this because they're like, I don't have anything to put out there. And when you go on LinkedIn, you find people who've mastered this, people with lots of years of experience, and you're like, how can I compete against them? I know you might have mentioned this in the question I just asked, but if you could double down and just talk about how to be strategic and authentic in the online space in a way that makes people actually see beyond the noise into the value you can actually provide. If you could just mention that quickly once again, I think it's important.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're like introverted, so this is how I started. I first like in my own workplace, I first ask people like, for example, our designers, because I do social media content design now. I ask the people, the designers that I first trust. It and not even just your workplace. It's also like your family or your friends. But take note, there should be like an amount of time that you ask feedback from your family and friends. Because the thing is, most of the time, your family and friends will just tell you that, especially if they're very, very supportive, they will just say, "Oh, it looks good, it looks amazing." And that's not the kind of feedback that you're always looking forward to. You want to have like constructive feedback. So you ask like your coworkers or even your managers if you can approach them like, how do you think I can improve in this part or in this part? Because that's actually the first step. Starting a conversation, even with people you are working on, is like one of the first things that all introverts actually encounter, and it can be difficult. Like for me, when I was starting out, I can't even like approach our designer and ask him to change this. It's incorrect. And then what happens is that I just leave it out there and then the mistake will be posted, which is not good. And this was like years ago before I even got into the virtual space. And also, I think if you're introverted, you first start with private communities. You know what really helped me is Reddit. If you're familiar with Reddit, please do like talk to people there because it's an anonymous platform. No one will see you unless you use your real name. And yeah, most of the people actually in Reddit are either harsh or welcoming. So I suggest you explore Reddit and start talking to people there. And if you want it to be more like very private, you can even message people directly there. And once you get like a bit comfortable, go to LinkedIn, and in LinkedIn, try messaging people first. This is actually how I usually start. You go from private and then very semi-private and then public, because it's a process. You have to like overcome it yourself. I know a lot of people will say, can't I just stay as an introvert and win? And that's the problem is in this world, in the business, people need to talk about what they can do, because your achievements won't speak for themselves. I mean, a lot of people say just do the hustle and then your achievements will speak for themselves. Now, the problem is if other people are talking about their achievements and you are not, even if you are more amazing than them, no one will know about it because they have a louder voice than you do. Now, if you have like right now, you have zero experience, zero to post on LinkedIn, I suggest, as I said earlier, work on a passion project. Because for me, I literally started with nothing. Like, can you imagine? I don't have anything to post. So I said, okay, let's start a passion project, something that I'll be excited about. And once you found work, make sure you still put time on your passion project. A lot of people forget that once they have work, their passion project gained attention from a client and you got like a project, people now forget their passion project. And I would say always make time for it, because in the job market that we have now, it's very tough. And it's not like I would not recommend that when you feel that you're gonna experience a salary cut or like problems with your clients, that's not that's not the ideal time to start building your portfolio or your plan B. You start your plan B even before things get better. I always think about that. Like not because you're looking down at your clients or whatever, but life can be unpredictable, the market can be unpredictable, and yeah, you have to use your networking skills. You have to like build your portfolio even if you're starting from zero. See another example on LinkedIn, like in my space, a lot of people are doing this. How will I do it if I receive this kind of project? Like for example, you see a project that's posted like from a big company, and you say, how will I do it if I was the one given this project? So most of the time this works, but also like you have to be careful, because sometimes you will get like a lot of haters from doing this kind of strategies. But yeah, the most safest thing to do is like build a passion project and also do volunteering. So yeah, consider volunteering as well, because a lot of opportunities, free and paid, also comes from volunteer work.
Awesome. Yeah, I like how practical that was. There are things you can take and start applying tonight, guys. So thank you so much, Patricia. We have 15 minutes to the top of the hour. I'm seeing a number of learner questions coming in. I want to give the learners a little bit more time to ask more questions in the Q&A section. And before we get into those, I'd like to ask you, Patricia, to give us a masterclass to the top of the hour, or 5 minutes past the hour, about something you're passionate about, something you'd like to share with our learners, something you think would be relevant for them at this stage. For more context, they have 3 to 4 more weeks to graduate, and then after that, they'll be getting into the VA world. Some of them have started applying for jobs already, building their portfolios. That's where they are at. But I'll leave this open-ended for you to just, let us into a little bit more of your experience.
Okay, so can I like show you some of my resources that I share to other learners as well?
Yeah, that's okay. Anything and everything.
So yeah, I'll just show you the stuff that I usually like teach to my learners. Wait, give me a second. I'll go through it like really fast, because I don't want to lose our time for the Q&A. Yeah, let me share my screen. Okay, all right. Can everyone see my screen? Yes. So I'll make this really fast. So this is how you can learn smart, connect strong, and land opportunities. So first things first, why do you need to learn smart? So it's a common question I get from a lot of people. And I always say this, why it's important to learn. The machines are learning. So how about you? What makes you different from the machines? So of course, don't delegate your learning to AI, please. Focus on learning so that you have other skills that you can brag about instead of just being like a well-versed or knowledgeable when it comes to AI tools. Okay, so how do you learn smart? I already told this a while ago. Check the job boards, compare your skills, set learning intentions, and again, keep an obstacle log and a struggle protocol. So as I said a while ago, if you're encountered an obstacle, take note of that, and then have like a struggle protocol prepared. Like, how am I going to like overcome this obstacle the next time it happens in my learning journey? Now, next, I always say this, focus on learning sprints. So if you're like enrolled in a course right now that will take like months, doesn't matter if you like can finish in 1 hour or 5 to 15 minutes, because it's our attention span now. I think most of you have heard this before. Our attention span is getting shorter. So adjust to that. And then I always tell this to other learners. If you learn something new, the best way to immediately apply that is to record yourself talking about this new thing that you learned and explain it. If you can explain it very well once you record it, that means you learned something new. And again, post your journey online. So if you're learning something new, post about it, because you will have a lot of people supporting it. And at the same time, this highlights the skills that you're learning, which can also attract clients who might be like lurking in the LinkedIn or in the LinkedIn space, or even in the Instagram or Thread space. Or if you're learning like lots of books, resources, use AI to summarize, but of course, I always tell people don't 100% rely on it because, AI sometimes hallucinates and they make up stuff. So, yeah, be cautious about that. And of course, an important advice I always tell to people, join online communities. Go on Reddit, go on LinkedIn, Threads. Some communities even have Discord servers. Go on Facebook, and you will learn a lot more for free, actually, or like on the job itself. Like most of my networking skills, I learned mostly on Reddit. Can you believe that, on Reddit? And then also on LinkedIn. Okay. So sorry if I'm going through this very fast because I want to like give you the floor to ask questions later. And then why do you need to connect strong? So this is why you need to connect strong in the AI era. First thing, because it helps you learn about the industry. That's a given. It helps you learn more about yourself. Now, how can I put myself out there better? And connections also help you plan what will be your next step. Now, this is very important because a lot of people sometimes, if you're like working alone, you don't know what's happening now in the job market. Let's say right now, okay, I want to get more clients or I can't find clients. If you have like a vast network, you will be aware where to look for opportunities, how to look for opportunities, and what resources I can actually learn based on my intended job roles. So, how to connect strong in the AI era? I always say this, connect with thought leaders from different industries. You might be thinking, wait, why different industries? Like, for example, if I'm working on content, why do I need to connect with someone in design, someone in marketing? Because connections actually help you upskill and at the same time, not just upskill in one skill that is critical for your industry. It goes beyond so that you cast a wider net. So, in the event that you feel that one day your role is affected by AI, you can instantly pivot to a different career. So take note, I started from education and then went to marketing and then went to tech. So if you think about it, okay, how do you do that? You're like jumping from one thing to another. It's because I'm following a lot of people. I have lots of mentors in different industries. So I have a mentor in finance, I have a mentor in oil and gas, I have a mentor in tech, and so much more. And again, send a message to strike up a conversation because if you're not familiar with posting, send a message privately. And again, be your most authentic self. But I always tell people, don't be too vulnerable. Don't share confidential stuff. And as much as possible, I know a lot of people want to post online where they are or wherever. I would suggest don't post it on real time because you can get in trouble with it. There are lots of weird people on the internet. And next, set your expectations for connections and mentorship because, not all people that you're going to encounter, let's say for connections and mentorship, would want to connect with you or would want to mentor you. So, yeah. So keep those expectations a bit low. And then establish connections and, of course, always ask questions. And yeah, so if you're looking for a mentor, I always tell this to people, look for someone who listens empathetically, offers constructive feedback, shares knowledge like realistically in real time, and makes you feel comfortable. Because, of course, how would you want to connect with someone if you're not comfortable with them? So the mentorship or the connection will end very early on, and there will be no benefit for both of you. Now, one thing that I encounter a lot, there are people who are now using AI as their coach and mentor. So I am saying that this is okay, okay? So it's okay. AI is good now for giving generic and almost creative advice, but it doesn't replace human connections. So what I'm saying is you can ask right now, you can go to ChatGPT, go to Gemini, go to every AI tool out there and ask, where can I find a job? What should I do in my job search? And they will give you tips, right? They will give you detailed tips. But the problem is becoming over reliant on AI tools has an impact on your brain, which can extend to our skills. And this is based on a 2025 study from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And at the same time, as I told you before, AI tools only generate information, generate data based on the data set that they have. So, I mean, if it's a new experience that has not made its way on an LLM or an AI tool right now, then it can't actually help you. Okay, and then the last part, how do I land opportunities? Most people's favorite part. So whether you are looking for freelance, part-time, full-time, project-based, remote, hybrid, or on-site roles, this is one of the most important questions right now because I'm sure everyone has seen it. Everyone is saying the job market is tough. I've been ghosted by a recruiter, which I already also experienced at some point. Are these jobs even real? Because people are applying, like on LinkedIn, you will see people applying, like thousands of people applying to one job. But this job description, this job role, job opening has been there for months. Did anyone actually get the job? Okay. So how do I land my next big role? So again, ask AI to check your resume, but be cautious because again, AI hallucinates. I encountered this one time. I asked AI to uh, like change, revise my resume according to a job description, and then it began putting things that I didn't even do. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's not good. Because imagine your resume got through and in the future and then people will be like, did you really do this? Of course, some people lie in their resumes. I acknowledge that, but some things you can't fake it till you make it. Okay, just put that in mind. Some things you can't fake it till you make it. And then search about the recruiters. So if you want to land opportunities, you have to like connect with recruiters, especially on LinkedIn. You'll be surprised that like if you look at my connections, okay, she's connected to the marketing manager of this company in this country, of the CEO in this country. So actually a lot of people are like open to connecting, especially on LinkedIn. And that will really help you in the future. And again, read a lot and communities. I actually found some like surprising places to look for jobs. It's not just on LinkedIn. Imagine there are lots of opportunities on Threads, on Instagram, on Reddit, where people are actually like looking for people who can work for them in different roles. Because, of course, let's forget about some of the traditional job boards. They work, but sometimes if you want to like cast a wider net, go to social media as well, go to communities. And then follow job search influencers. So I always say this because you want free knowledge, right? You don't always want to pay courses. So go follow some job search influencers and just be selective because not all influencers will actually like share stuff freely. So yeah, and actually you're very lucky you're with ALX Africa who offers like good training skills like this to help you like land opportunities. And another thing, again, check out other industries. So, for example, actually, some companies that are not specifically for the role may offer like roles for your industry. Like, can you believe it? Like these companies, tech companies, if you think about it, oh, a tech company, they might be looking for an engineer, a data analyst. But if you look at their different departments, they might be looking for a virtual assistant. And that works for you. Okay, so don't share it with others. Don't share it with others, but yeah, this is actually one of the things that I suggest with some people. Go to like not specifically for your industry because they might be looking for roles in the same way that you have now. And again, build authentic connections. I always think about this, that I want to be as authentic as possible so that people will recommend me to other people. Okay. So that's how I actually like grew my influence, not just at work, but also outside my work, because as authentic as I can be. I do use AI, but only for like specific stuff and take note. Not all clients want to use AI tools, so you have to like be very open and communicating with clients about that. And yeah, so post about what you like what you achieve. And it's, as I told you before, start a passion project if you're like have zero things to put on your portfolio. And another thing that I missed, this is actually important, especially if you're working on confidential projects. Like a lot of projects that I'm working on, you might see it outside, you might see it in public spaces, but some of them I can't disclose that, okay, I worked on that, I worked on this. Okay, so this is also important, because if you have like a passion project, people will know what you're capable of without you disclosing this confidential projects that you've landed. And a lot of people miss this, the last one. You have to subscribe to email newsletters. So a lot of people now might not be checking emails that much, and that's when you miss a lot of opportunities. Why? Because actually some of the opportunities I got are like emails sent to me, or because I'm subscribed to this newsletter, I'm getting freebies on this. I'm getting like last time I got 6 months free of this tool, 3 months free of this tool, and like so many things actually that you get from email newsletters. So if there's a company you like, or like a tool you like, subscribe to their email newsletter, check it every now and then who knows? That might be where your next opportunity would be. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. Amazing, Patricia. Thank you so much. So many nuggets there. I took a lot of notes again. And guys, if you're wondering, yes, this session is recorded. And if you check your emails tomorrow, you'll get a recording of this session in case you need to, review some of the nuggets that Patricia has shared. If you have a question, we're going to give a few opportunities for some of you guys to raise your hands if you want to like voice your question verbally. So if you raise your hand, we'll unmute you and let you get into the question. In the meantime, I'm going to get into the Q&A section and see what we already have there. Someone is asking, they're saying they're gifted in storytelling, and they are wondering how they can use that to advance their VA career. So if they are gifted in storytelling, how do they use that to fit into the VA world? Do you want to take that, Patricia?
So I actually, it would have helped if you give me more context on the kind of virtual assistant role that you have now, because there are lots of like there's a lot and wider scope of virtual assistant roles right now. But if it's generically you want to apply storytelling in a lot of things, I would suggest use it in terms of like presenting your proposals or like working on stuff. Because for me, actually, it's always like the best thing to apply your storytelling skills in your proposals. Like, I'm not sure how it works with ALX Africa or your role right now for the person who asked the question, but like having a proposal that tells a story always wins. I always say that. Most of the proposals I landed in big companies, in big clients, always has a story to tell. And usually the story is, okay, I'm now sharing a lot of my secrets. Most of the storytelling I do is like, I research the company first and look at what the problems they're trying to solve. Like ask yourself right now, what is the problem that my client is trying to solve? How can I offer it? How can I assist them on this? And from there, you offer your solution. You know, and when it comes to storytelling, we always say that targeting the emotion is the best thing. And that's when people are like going to buy from you, or you're going to sell an idea to people. So yeah, because I don't know the scope of your work, I would suggest put it on the proposals. And when you are like giving a solution to your client, use that skill to sell your idea, to sell your solution, to sell your services. Don't just be like, right now, people will be like, buy this, buy that. But what kind of problem are you trying to solve for me? Because people now, everyone is selling. I mean, a lot of people must have heard, every one of you must have heard digital products. So it's like one of the trendiest things right now. But not all of them are like trying to solve a problem. And you want to be like the problem solver here, right? So yeah, focus on your storytelling skill on solving a problem and then offering a solution. Like tell a story on how I will solve your problem through this solution. Yeah.
Amazing. People connect to stories a lot. If you look at any of the big brands out there, it's storytelling that sets them apart. So yeah, great nuggets there, Patricia. Anastasia has a question. We'll give her a chance to unmute and press it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kennedy. Hi, Patricia. My name is Anastasia, and I live currently in Germany. So my question is, how does one navigate the VA scene in a non-English speaking environment? Because I am learning all these tools of how to be a great VA and everything, but from an English perspective. And getting a VA job in in Germany is almost like a needle in a haystack. So my question is, how does one package themselves or package themselves in an environment that is non-English speaking to begin with for one venturing into the VA scene? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's a really nice question. So, I'm not sure if I mentioned it a while ago. I'm actually in the UAE. So think about it. I'm actually a Filipino. I'm not from an English-speaking country, and I'm currently in a country where people are speaking Arabic. And it can be, if you think about it, wait, you're in a country where, of course, people are speaking Arabic, people are speaking different languages. So just like to give you a trivia, in the UAE, we have like 200 plus nationalities here. Imagine trying to stand out in that kind of space. So for you, if you're like in a country where there are lots of languages and there's, of course, the local language, I would suggest, of course, to try also learning the language of the country where you're in. And if you can't do that, which is actually, it's actually reasonable, especially if you're someone like me who one day wants to be a digital nomad, you can't like give all your time learning a language, right? So I would say that look for opportunities first in the language that you're familiar with. And if it's not the language that is being used in the country, try to use the language, try to learn it. Like, I'm sure you have colleagues that will be more willing to talk to you, to converse with you in the language. And actually, to tell you, I still don't know how to how to speak Arabic even up to now. But see, I'm still getting the opportunities. It's because you also want to learn how the culture works. So aside from learning the language, I would also suggest that you learn the culture. How does the VIA landscape work in the country that you're in? What is the culture like? Because as much as I don't speak Arabic, I understand and respect how the Arabic culture works. Like, to give you an example, you know how to like respect people's spaces. If you think about it, wait, that's just a simple thing, respecting people's spaces. And that's a cultural thing as well, especially here in the UAE. There are a lot of things, a lot of rules, especially when it comes to social media. So try to be inclined in the culture first and then learn the language through your colleagues. If you don't have colleagues, again, Reddit is your friend. Communities are your friend. Ask people questions there anonymously, and then there, I assure you, there are lots of people, anonymous people, who are more willing to help you. Like this community that I'm in on Reddit, can you believe there are like what, 50,000 people over there, or like 1,000 people, 50 people, 100 people will comment on your post anonymously. And it's also an anonymous post just to help you. So yeah, you can do those things so that you can position yourself better.
Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
Amazing. Thank you for your question, Anastasia. We have another question from Ese. Please go ahead,
Yes.
Ese. You're muted, Ese, if you're speaking.
Okay.
Or maybe it's a legacy hand, but it's okay. Ese, here you go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. My name is Essie Gbagba, and I wanted to ask a question about, because from our Savannah yesterday, I was going through the cover letter, and I was building my own cover letter. And according to what they said we should search for jobs and then use it to build our cover letter, and which I did. And I applied for the job yesterday, and I think it was through the email, and the person got back to me, and then I got the job, but I later realized that it was a fake job. So my question is, how do you figure out fakes jobs description and from the real ones?
Yeah, actually that's one that's one question that's really tough right now. Oh, I'm sorry for your experience, but I don't know if this will comfort you. I actually experienced this as well when I'm trying to take on a project like a few years back. They said I'm accepted, and then I realized it's a fake job, and I'm like, ha, I wasted my time. So like right now, the thing is, it can be difficult to spot fake jobs, or what they call as ghost jobs. But again, I'm gonna go back to the community. So I don't know if you've heard about this quote, like this person walked so that you can run, something like that. So I always suggest people to join communities, because that's where you will find out where and which are the spaces that do a lot of fake jobs. Like there was one time I wanted to publish a book, and this publisher approached me. So I was like, okay, this is really good. This is really great. And then I went to Threads, I think, Threads, Facebook, and even on LinkedIn. I joined this space for creative writers, publishers, and all these stuff. And there was even a time I joined the seminar, and they were talking about fake publishers, or publishers that will just scam the money out of you. And that publisher was one of them. So you see how the community works. So if you're part of a community, because right now, as I said, it can be very difficult to spot scams, to spot fake jobs. I mean, can you believe it? Even the phishing emails, the scam emails now are getting smarter and smarter. Is it because of AI? I'm not sure. Is it because of technology? Could be. Is it because people are now in tough times? Could also be. So what I'm saying is that join a community, search about things, and then ask people, do you think, oh, this is actually one thing I saw in a community a few weeks back. They posted this community was dedicated to like figuring out if a job post is fake in my country, in the Philippines. So what they do is they post a job and then they ask, is this fake or not? And then people will be flooding saying, oh, these are the description, these are the signs that this is fake. So you see, that's how the community works. So again, I'm really sorry that you have to experience this. Really sorry for every one of us who experienced this. But again, your strength lies in the community. So you have a community like this, ALX Africa, with lots of fellow learners, lots of people with you. So yeah, connect with the community before, not before you apply with something, but sometimes you also need to trust your intuition. Sometimes it's not there because the job description sounds really real. But yeah, the community helps big time because yeah, the scammers, the fake job posters are like getting more and more sophisticated. And I think another thing that you must do, and I always tell this to people, if you're going to apply to different stuff, try to not put your personal information, or if someone is asking for your portfolio, don't give like a full portfolio, just give a few samples here and there. Because sometimes a lot of people get scammed or get their portfolio stolen by people, and we don't want you to I don't want you to experience that kind of thing.
Okay, because I saw that the job description and the compensation was about $2,200, and I had to share the email to my friend, and I was asking for his opinion, and then he said, "Bro, this looks too much to be real." So I just had to trust my instincts, and then I left the job. I didn't even bother to continue with the guy.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be like really difficult, especially these days. But yeah, at least just take it right now as like an experience, a learning experience. And I know this it's not a good thing to like take note of other people's bad experiences, but you sharing it in the community right now also helps people in this session right now to become aware of these kind of fake job posts. But yeah, I'm sure this one also like while it gave you a lot of disappointment, it also like puts you now in perspective that okay, I'll be more careful from now on because there are lots of fake job posts out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Eze. Sorry about your experience. Let's get Beryl's question.
Hi, my name is Beryl Okinda. So my question is, I have a background in graphic design and social media management.
Yes.
And yes, at the moment, I'm doing the virtual assistant course. So my question is, if I get a job, maybe as a virtual assistant, how do I curate my CV to fit my past roles? Because I am just starting as a virtual assistant. I have no experience. So how do I curate my CV to fit this role that I'm now applying for? And if maybe I get another role, maybe as a social media manager, how then do I again curate my role, my responsibility, or my